Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm an incoming biomedical engineering student at the University of California, Irvine. Let's go ant ears, zot, zot, zot. And I want to quickly talk about a project that I'm hoping to work on this summer, which is developing hand prosthetics. More specifically, EMG-controlled bionic hand prosthetics. So, we all know why hand prosthetics are super important. The World Health Organization estimates that around 35 to 40 million people worldwide are actually in need of some sort of hand prosthetic. However, only around 1 to 10 people actually have access to them. And that's due to two main reasons. One, it's just because they live in areas that don't have the facilities to distribute them or fit them. But mainly two, they are super freaking expensive. The more affordable ones will run about $3,000, which isn't cheap by any means, and are very limited in function. Some of them are even more of just cosmetics. And the more expensive ones that can do typing and do all the things that a normal hand could do cost 30 to over hundreds of thousands of dollars. And look, if I lost my hand, I would really want it back, as with pretty much most people. However, as with most people too, I don't think I would go into crippling debt to get it back. So what my project really focuses on is trying to find some way of really creating an affordable and actually affordable hand prosthetic that still has the functions to really improve people's quality of lives and, allow them to be more independent. And when I say affordable, I mean like a couple of hundreds of dollars, which, isn't cheap by any means, again, but a lot more accessible for people. So before I get into the whole mechanics of a prosthetic, we need to talk about how the forearm works. When I asked a bunch of people, hey, if you were to lose your hand tomorrow and get a prosthetic, what main functions would you want to retain? And I got two main answers. They want to be able to point, they want to point at people, press a button, that kind of stuff, and they want to be able to close their hand. So pointing and closing their hands. So when we reduce it down to those two main functions, the hand becomes very simple. We actually only need to look at two main muscle groups when talking about those functions. On the top, we have the extensor muscles, which, as they suggest, extend the hand. And on the bottom, we have the flexor muscles, which flex the hand or close them down. These muscles pull onto tendons, which are connected to the fingers, and that allows the fingers to close with the muscles being on the forearms. And then we need to look at how the brain actually tells the muscles to close. So when I want my hand to close, my brain will send an electrical signal or a nerve impulse. It will send a pulse. Okay, I want to close my hand. It will send the signal down my head, down over here, and it's going to go and it's going to tell my muscle, you got to close. And it closes. And then now, when those signals are gone, it opens back up. So when we think about that, the mechanics of a prosthetic hand seem very, very simple. For opening at least, because your hand's naturally always open, you can put some sort of springs or rubber system that can naturally pull your hand open. And for the bottom, for people who still have some muscle remaining, you can attach an EMG or an electromyography, which essentially detects when there's an electrical signal that your brain sends. We can detect when your brain is trying to tell your hand to close, use that signal to turn on a motor, which acts as the muscle, and close your hand down. So it is very simple, very, very simple. And just to show you how simple it is, I actually made a replica. So we have the extensor muscles, which I recreated with rubber bands, and the flexor muscles, which are strings that me pulling would be the muscle, and that allows me to do the two main functions that I was talking about. Close the hand and point. I can point at people. So I just want to show that these things are very simple, and hopefully by looking into them more, we can really create much more affordable and accessible systems that everyone can use. Thank you.